Hello, it's Chaplain73 here. Welcome to another interview. And today I am joined from across the pond by Curtis Pink. Hello, Curtis. How you doing?
How's it going? Good.
Yeah, good. I will crack on with the questions then, Curtis. Could you just start by introducing yourself, letting us know who you are, what it is you do, and where you're based?
Yeah, so Curtis Pink, sometimes known as the Dread Pirate Pink, other times known as Nomadiknoize, couple other monikers and names in there. I'll let you all figure out the rest. What was the other part of the question?
What do you do, and where are you based?
That's a big question. So I'm based out of New Mexico, southern New Mexico. I live in a small town called Silver City. So if you try looking at it on a map, you'll have to go all the way down into the southwest corner. And I do mainly a lot of print media, printing, as well as painting, some graffiti, some writing, DJing, kind of a little bit of everything, but primarily focus on printmaking and printing.
Cool. And I mean, that leads me nicely on to the next question that I was going to ask you, which is obviously you're involved in the Board Friday project with SSOSVA, and you've also set up a company called Boxcar Stickers. Could you tell us a bit about those two bits of?
Yeah. So I mean, to talk about SSOSVA, the society. I kind of gotta probably describe how I discovered them because it's a fun story. So about 4 or 5 years ago now, I went on a trip. My grandmother just passed away. And so we went back for her just to go visit a resting site. And while we were there, took my wife and my newborn all around the country by train. And so we were up in Manchester, and I saw this sticker like halfway peeling off of a post, and it was a SSOSVA sticker. And so I peeled it off and rescued it, put it in my book, forgot about it. And I went back to all the pictures I took of the graffiti that we hunted down throughout the whole country. And there's like SSOSVA stuff in every town that we went to. And I kind of noticed it then, but when I got back and was looking through, I was like, went from being like, oh, that's a cool name, to kind of like, what is this about? And so 3 years ago now, for the Inktober, or the 30 days challenge, which I know you've done a few times, and
yeah,
I've done a couple times now. My journal, I had taken that sticker, which had no adhesive on it anymore, and just kind of Mod Podged it on the top of my journal. And at the beginning of Inktober that year, I took a picture and tagged Secret Society, Supervillain Artists, and Bill showed up commenting and was like, oh yeah, that's me, mate. And so just kind of over time started making friends with everyone and getting to know everyone via online. I liked it so much that at the end of that 30 days, I told myself if I finished Inktober, I'd get a tattoo, and it'd be of the SSOSVA badge. And so I got, I don't know if you can see, but I got Dave Savage's version of it. And then didn't meet him till after I got the tattoo. And he was like, oh yeah, that's me. And I was like, well, I got your work on me. So that's kind of how I discovered SSOSVA. And it was just kind of just random, right? So out of the blue. And I think I was really fortunate to find them, because it's, as you know, so many super talented artists, and so many artists that are friendly, which is don't always go hand in hand, especially me coming up in the West Coast US graffiti scene. It's not as welcoming and friendly. So Board Friday project, I missed the very first one. I'm still super sour about that. I missed the deadline to contribute to the first one that Bill did. And at the end of the book, he was like, all right, I just wanted to, as Bill does, I just wanted to do it. I don't really feel like keeping it going, hand it off to whoever. And I just started doing them. It was great because I've got files upon files and folders of different amazing art from all over the world. And yeah, it was really cool, and just kept doing it. I haven't done one since, what was it, September or so, August, September this last year, because I just moved, just built my house. I've got 2 kids, and just started a business. So yeah, but Board Friday project's awesome. I kind of theme it out a little bit, and some of them have been political, others have been you know, this time frame that we're in right now is, there's so much for us as artists to speak on. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. We're on book 5 now, aren't we? On book 5.
Yeah, I'm like, let me look at mine. Yeah, I think we're on book 5. Yeah. So I think the last one I did was the last Inktober, because of all the drama with Inktober. I did Octovillain, where me and Bill came up with a bunch of prompts and put them out there, and then I just set up an Instagram page for it. So if you want to check that out online, you can go to Instagram Octovillain and see a bunch of different people's art. And I think that was the last one I did, and I just kept it digital. So I'm about due for a new one. I think I need to make time. Yeah,
have to make time for that. And now you've finished putting your studio together, which I've been following online, the pictures of the various stages of your studio coming together.
Yeah, I mean, like 10 years ago, I was doing art on this, like a milk crate and a journal book in my bedroom, right? Like how we all end up starting. And for years, I was like, oh, when I get a house with enough room, I'm gonna make my own studio, my own space. And after having kids, that became so important, because they just get into everything. They still do, but it's a little easier. And you know, so we bought this house this summer, and it had a garage with no door on it. And I was like, yep, that's the space. And so it was a lot of fun. I got to build the wall and set the French doors and lay the floor, and built everything kind of specific out to how I wanted it, which is super, super cool. And then got a bunch of equipment to go in it for Boxcar Stickers, and realized I don't have enough space. So it's a never-ending struggle.
No, none of us have ever got enough space, have we?
I know, and I'm such a pack rat when it comes to art supplies, and I save every scrap of paper, and you know, oh, that'll go on something with some glue in the future. So.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to yourself if you went back in time to when you were first thinking about becoming an artist and being creative and taking up the creative reins? What advice would you give yourself that you wish you'd been given?
I think the biggest one is, and I know there's probably a lot of artists that agree with me, is art school is bollocks. Don't go and spend a bunch of money to get taught the things that you can just pick up from other artists and teach yourself, really. I mean, for me, I had like 1 or 2 really good teachers in art school that became mentors. But it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a whole lot of the technical stuff. Like, I guess, you know, me growing up when I was a kid, like you wanted to learn about something or find something, you went and found an encyclopedia in the library, right? you didn't hop on YouTube. And now, like with YouTube and all of the online classes, you can spend like $100 or 50 quid and get taught by a master, which is insane. I keep telling Mason he should do oil painting classes. So it would be great to have a villains university. I think would be a great project for us all.
Mason Ross.
Yeah.
Mason Ross presents.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that advice and really the other advice and you'd asked me this earlier, but I just started a company called Boxcar Stickers. Because we're all sticker heads and sticker junkies. I've got so many of them. I love them. But I wanted to start making them, and the big push behind that was I've been a printer for so long in so many different medias that it just kind of made sense for me. And then I found out Sticker Mule which was who I was printing stickers through, was a huge supporter of Donald Trump and supporting the Republican Party. And I, being as you probably can't tell, the crazy liberal, was not happy with that. So my only rule for my company is I don't print stickers for assholes. So, you know, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this or not. Is this like
yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is a setting that says not suitable for kids, and it's always clicked anyway, just in case.
So yeah, so my advice would be find something, not only like don't mess around, like art school, like it's cool, but you're not gonna be famous, you're not gonna be successful just because you went to art school. Like you gotta grind it, grind it out. But find something. I was reading this article the other day where they were talking about how we should celebrate the craftsmen and craftswomen, the people that do trades more, right? Like not only is the big art scene cool or whatever, your favorite artist, but also recognize and appreciate like your local potter or your local bloke that works in a shed that does inspiring quotes with a character and then donates money to charity, right? You celebrate those things. Success doesn't necessarily mean Banksy level type stuff or Mason or, you know, all of those guys. Do it for the love of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's great advice. I think you know, you've got to think local now, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't know if my younger self would have listened, but you know.
So who do you think influenced you as you were starting out or across the years?
So I've been really fortunate to have a lot of good family and friends that do great work. My mother is a full-time artist. She does jewelry, Jenny Wolf Jewelry. Anybody that wants to check her out. So like I grew up with that, and my grandmother was an amazing pastel. I didn't say that one wrong. And charcoal drawer. Mm-hmm. And then my pseudo uncle abuelo Malachi he's been in the Board Friday project. Was like this insane heavy metal type artist. You know the magazine Heavy Metal. He did stuff like that. So those were kind of my early influences, and then coming up on the West Coast, obviously Twist. Twist was awesome. Graffiti writer from San Francisco. Sasquatch 23 from Portland. Ronnie Foxwit from the Earwigs. You know, and then the big ones, right? Like Banksy and London Police and Cause and all of those folks. So a lot of street art. And then on the more traditional side, like, you know, Frida Kahlo is a big influence, and, you know, MC Escher, and pretty much anything I could get my hands on. Again, before the internet, man, like you couldn't get art magazines and stuff. It was like whatever was at the library.
Yeah. I know in Penzance, just down the road from us, there was a massive art book collection, and I used to just, you know, go and take books out and just absorb as much information about art as I could. I mean, we're going back 15, 20 years now. You know, the internet wasn't, you know, it wasn't what it is now. And you did go and take 6 books out and read them all, and, you know, really absorb that art and art history. And now you can just press a button. You know, it has made.
Yeah, and anything Marvel too, man. Comic books were huge for me. Calvin and Hobbes, like all that stuff. So yeah.
Cool. So that leads us nicely on to the next question, which I love asking, and people hate me asking. If you could spend 24 hours with an artist, any artist, living or dead, we've got a time machine now. You can jump in the time machine, you can go back as far as you want, or somebody who's still alive. Who would you like to spend 24 hours with, and what would you do?
Yeah, I know why people hate this question. I've got like 3 in my head, right? And I'm like, which one do I pick?
Most people have trouble picking one.
Yeah. I mean, shit, that's so hard. What's his name again? Oh, okay. Ernst Haeckel. It's spelled Haeckel. He does all these. He looks like Darwin, right? Like he does a lot of pictures of jellyfish and invertebrate, and it's got this very like zoological feel to it. I don't know if he would have been cool to hang out with, but his artwork's cool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think him or Da Vinci, because I really like. I don't know if you've seen. I've checked out some of his sketchbooks, and just the way he sketched and took notes is super cool.
Yeah. I've got a book here somewhere on Da Vinci with some of his pages from his sketchbooks in, and yeah, it does look very fascinating to get into his mind. So,
yeah,
definitely a genius.
I mean, for the famous ones, I gotta add one more. My grandmother who passed, like to have another day with her to really just like pick her brain. But I'll stop there, man, because I could be like, oh, and this person, and this person. You should change that question to like, if you could have a party with 5 people, an art party.
That's an idea, actually. That's an idea. Maybe I will change that. Make it a bit easier. So finally, the last question: what's in store for the future? Have you got any projects that you're working on or planning in the planning stage for that you could share with us?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about how much I can talk about this one. So I'm in the process of. I've got some really good friends up in Albuquerque. They run the only indigenous native comic book store and comic book label like in the world, as far as I know. And we're in the Southwest, so indigenous folks like this is, there are pueblos in New Mexico that folks have never been moved from their land. So there's a lot of rich heritage and culture, and there's a lot of amazing native artists and street artists. So we're looking at, year and a half, maybe putting together some sort of cross-cultural event like Upfest, but here in the Southwest, and try and bring some folks over from that area of the world, and South America and some other places, and just trying to figure out how the crossover makes sense, right? Because we want to celebrate indigenous folks doing their work. So that's a big one on the books. But that just started, like we just started figuring that out, or starting the planning on that like last week. Other than that, really trying to continue making my business successful. So, I'm in the first month of it. It's crazy, and what a time to do that. Raising my kids, hopefully getting out to go paint walls too.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all eager to get out and paint some walls now.
Oh man, I just painted my house, and I've got a shop out back, and I think I'm going to dedicate a wall to that, so I don't have to wait to go out anywhere. I can just go out in the backyard. So
I keep looking at the side of my house, but I think my wife would divorce me if I.
That's why you just get the bucket of primer to go next to it. Be like, I could just cover over it. I'll get it tomorrow.
Right. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah.
And
you as well.
Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to answer these few questions. And
mad love to all the villains out there. So, how you've seen the face.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've looked forward to this interview and look forward to finally meeting you, because obviously, you know, of your involvement with the Board Friday project and stuff. I've spoken to you, but not in person. So it's been
it's been a couple years now, right?
Yeah. And I believe there's a piece of mine on the wall behind you, which you bought off me for one of my Octavia's. I don't think I can see it on there at the moment because your camera's.
I'm gonna move it so everyone can see it.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. Hey, there they are. Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah. So obviously, you know, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you today, and thank you very much for spending your time.
Yeah, thank you. Before we go, I should show everyone the wall.
The wall. Hey, look at that.
So is this the part where, oh,
camera's gone.
Is this the part where I say, are we done yet?
Right. If you like what you've heard today and what you've seen today, then please hit the subscribe button below. And without further ado, I will say goodbye. Cheerio.
Peace out.
Cheers.